Hello, my fellow Jinxonites. A quick warning about this video. It is my opinion. If you do not like it, I am sorry, but it is. I do have freedom to speak my opinion. And in all honesty, I'm not the only one who agrees with my opinion. Some may and some may not. So here it goes. Sorry, I had to crack my knuckles. And it helps when I do the clapping stuff. Anywho, my opinion upon child support. Now, before you say, comment, or do anything, hear me out first. This goes for both men and women who pay child support or whatever gender you go by. Alright? Transgendered, male, female wanting to be a male wanting to be a female. All of the above, alright? Child support should never even have existed, in my opinion. It does not deserve to exist, nor should it. People who are given child support by screwing another person, by making them pay it, there's a higher percent proof and facts and studies proven that most of child support that is forced to be paid doesn't even go to the child. You see more women buying their bullshit Victoria's Secrets and all that other shit, and their child wearing something from fucking free clothing from church half the time and all that other shit. Once in a while, they'll buy something cool and name brand just to make it look good. But if most of the time, as an example, here's a good example. If they're given $500 as child support, that child's probably getting $50, $100. That's it. Child support's not for anyone but the child, okay? Just the child. It's called child support, not mommy support, daddy support, you know. It's child. Emphasis on child. The adult doesn't matter in that point. Now, back on track. This part of the opinion is for the people who choose not to be there for their kid. Male, female, transgendered, whatever. If you don't want to be in your kid, instead of being made to pay child support, they should just ban child support. Anyone getting child support should be informed in the mail that it is no longer a requirement. You are no longer to gain such. If you are going through the system of child support and the other parent is not willing to be in the said child's life, you are to report to the court such and such days to sign and agree and pay a semi-slow fee, willing to remove the negative parent from the birth certificate and file a restraining order till the child is at age 21. When the child reaches 21, they should be given something in the mail stating if they are desiring to want to try and communicate with said parent who has been away from life, they can file a thing that allows the parent, not allows, but allows the child and makes the parent have to pay at least $300 to $500. No more than $500. Not $501, not $502, $500 the max. But it is for them to go to college or to go to school, and they have to prove to the court it was used for home or college. So bills, college, school, anything that is a necessity in life nowadays. Because you need a fucking degree for just about anything, okay? At least a high school. Even if it's just to freaking pay off an electric bill. You have to prove it within a month's time, or you have to pay all that money back to the parent you basically fucked over then. Alright, you have to have backup to make it an equal balance for both sides and fair, and to prove to the court you're not just trying to get the money. Alright? Now, the downside of it all, during the process, you have to communicate and work with the parent. If the parent decides to say, hey, look, do you want to just call it quits? We can start anew and I mean, like, we're both adults, and they had their epiphany and be like, hey, look, I'm sorry for all the years I missed. Let's start anew. I know it's a little late, a lot of late, but hey, let's start fresh. The child can drop it. However, if the child decides to still be in said parent's life and gain that money, the parent has a legal right then to show proof, as long as there's text, messages, phone calls recorded, anything, or at least a total of 5 witnesses. They can get that money back. Not the full amount, probably half, but still to make it equal and fair. Alright? But child support should not exist anymore because of the fact it's abused. It isn't even used for the main support it's supposed to be for. Every parent steals it from the child, and I don't want to be told, no, I don't, and shit, because there's more parents who use it for themselves than for the child at all. I know some parents who do use it for their child, but I know more people who abuse it, which I have stopped talking to a lot of people in the past, before all this. Now, I'll admit, child support isn't just for bad parents. Some good parents get fucked over, me being one of the many. There are parents, men and women, although sadly there's more men who are fucked over than women in this count. I've been doing my research before doing this video so everyone knows ahead of time. But men are screwed over more, and there's a more count of men who want to be there for their child, that the mother just wants the money and to get payback, because it's been proven studies, women have a higher chance of wanting to get even during a breakup and a splitting and whatnot, while a man just wants to move on. Some men, I'll admit, are assholes, yes, and they just don't move on, and some men wished it would have worked. But to the men like me and 15, 16 other people I've been talking to that are men, and then there's 8 who are women who want to be there for their children and are prevented both against court orders or just prevented in general without court involved or anything. Child support just shouldn't exist. They don't deserve to be screwed over. If they have enough proof, enough witnesses to back them up, which me, I do. I know that for a fucking fact. I don't even know how many people I got. I can't count them on 2 hands. Okay? And I know some people who have more witnesses than I do for their cases, you know, and I feel bad because the court don't care about the child when it comes to that. All they want is to be like, okay, yeah, money talks. Hey, if this guy we feel is, you know, and most of the shit involving domestics is very sexist, I've noticed, and I've been informed, and a lot of people have agreed with me. When you're a guy, you're usually given a woman for a judge, and there's usually a lot of sexist going there. When you're a woman, there's a guy, and you usually have sexist there. In all honesty, if you have proof that you're getting mentally fucked up like me and a couple other people I know, and go to counseling, have a psychiatrist and a doctor willing to prove that you have become fucked up, both mentally and because of the mentally, it is increased with physical health as well. You have a right to be told, look, you do not have to pay shit. Hell, you shouldn't have to pay anything. It shouldn't even exist. But you have to prove it. You have to have at least, I'd say, about 10 things to prove. Which, hell, I could back that up 24/7 every second of the day if I wanted. Like, if I was asked to. But no court asks for proof. They just want to be like, hey, yeah, get this shit over with. Now, I'm going to throw out another fact. Like I said, I made sure I had proof. I mean, like, not like to show on you. Sadly, I wish I did have that, but I don't have the best of camera to do all that and whatnot. I'm still learning with some of the shit. But there's studies and whatnot of proving that broken heart syndrome is a very big thing when it comes to the parents who want to be there for their kids, who are prevented and are forced to do things that they shouldn't have to do, like pay the child support, when in reality they're struggling as it is. They're becoming homeless, getting mentally and physically ill, and one of the highest things is broken heart syndrome, which is proven you can die. You can die from broken heart syndrome. All right, which is one of the things I myself am actually going to be getting tested for as well, to find out if they can find it. And it is very hard to find, because broken heart syndrome isn't like a damage to the like artery or anything like that. It's your heart is that hurt that it's starting to die in a more increasing rate, and there's other things to it as well. But broken heart syndrome is basically one of the best examples I can tell you, because I learned it in school. I've had to do fucking tests and everything. Henry Ford's son died from broken heart syndrome. He had a beautiful wife, a mom who loved him and everything. But it only takes one form of love to be prevented or not shown to cause broken heart syndrome. You can have 5 million people loving you, and it could just be that one person you wish loved you that can cause broken heart syndrome so quick that you, BAM, you're dead. And you don't expect it. You don't wake up in your sleep, or you just collapse out of nowhere, anything can happen. Henry Ford's son has been proven that he died from broken heart syndrome because he felt his father did not love him. He gave him ideas for Ford industry, and it was ignored. He came to visit his father and tons of other things. His father just didn't show he cared. And when he did, it was way too late. His son was already dead, and he regretted it and all that. Trust me, it's very sad. And if I stand corrected, there's a movie on it as well. Which there is, because I had to watch it 3 fucking times. But, not only does broken heart syndrome happen with family disputes and bullshit like that, or relationships, the highest count for broken heart syndrome, one of the many situations, is children. For adults, it's when you're prevented from your child and you want to be there, and all you think about, all you desire is your children and or child. And it can be caused in children. And it's highly caused when the child knows, as they grow older, is being prevented by force to see the parent that wants to be there. And most of the cases, it's because of the fact it's around, once they get 10 and up, it starts to have a possibility. Now, it's not a big case. Sometimes it catches up as they get older. I mean, broken heart syndrome, you can have it and it can affect you for years, and it could wait till you're fucking 30 to die. Or it can wait till 2 years and then be like, look, you're too broken, nothing's changing, let's just die. And you won't have control over it. You can't stop it. If you die from broken heart syndrome, you die. It's because it's a broken heart. And it's sad. It's really pathetic that people prevent you from seeing children, take you for the court and everything, take you for domestics and all that, but don't want you to see the child. And when you call, whatever it takes to try and see the child, or you have friends and family try and sneak photos just so you can see how they're growing, and you don't know what's going on with their health for doctor's appointments or anything, and don't know how they're doing, and it scares and affects you. Trust me, it does hurt. It affects parents so bad. And not only does it affect parents, it also affects children. In all honesty, child support shouldn't even exist anymore. Most women abuse it, and it's sad that it's more women who abuse it than men. Most men don't even take women for child support. They just say, fuck it. If you don't want to be there, then don't be there. Or they communicate or attempt to. And if it gets negative, they involve court if they have to. Women just instantly go for court because they know, hey, I got money, or hey, I'm going to get money. And I'm not trying to be a dick to all women, because not all women are the same. I know a lot of women who are on my side with this opinion and feel child support is abused by more women. And to be quite honest, it's usually abused by more women who have the money to do it than the poorer woman. Although it's also proven that a lot, depending where you're living location, like state and country, it's also the poor woman too, because they gain the money. But most of the money is given for them to get the things they want, not their child. Hell, there's a lot of sad studies that are proven that the women use it for drugs as well. And it's sad. It's called child support. It's for the child. They shouldn't even create it. If a parent has any way to touch the money, by law, child support should just be removed for eternity. There should even be a thing signed by the president or someone stating child support is not to be ever brought back to the location of the state or country or whatever. It should no longer exist. It is prevented from being an ideal or a thought. It is gone. The child should have all say. The parent shouldn't have say when it comes to that child. The child should have the right to have their own opinion, their own choice, and decision. If they want to take the father or the mother or whatever to gain a $300 to $500 when they're 21, that's how I feel it should go. Because they're 21 years old. Hell, even if they're 18, but I feel it's more proper for 21 because of the fact a lot of things wait till you're 21. It's just, I feel that it would make more sense. Plus, when you're 21, you have a higher chance of knowing how to learn. You have a better process to understand. You have a better fact that you probably have more belief. Some people, like me, I'm Wiccan. I live and let live. I mean, like, I forgive and forget. So, and in some cases, I forgive but don't forget. But, you know, I live and let live. But making one person suffer isn't going to do any good. And there's always going to be bad karma in the end. No matter if you're making money and taking it from your child or whatnot, even if you're not, because there are some people who don't. It's just the fact that there's more people who abuse it than use it for the right reasons. And I believe if there's gonna be even just one person who abuse it, it should not even exist. In all honesty, it never should have, and it shouldn't anymore. I feel child support should no longer exist. Make it called call it the child's bill or make it the child's bill or something. For when the child is of the age of 21, because they have the right to choose then if they want to go about it or if they just want to let it go. Because they're at the proper age where they'll understand and know. But no parent should have to suffer and go through shit. Because not only are bad parents screwed over, which, hell, that's their karma though, but karma shouldn't go to the fact that it's hurting the child, and that parent should just be the parent. So in that case, it shouldn't exist. But there's a lot more good parents, and sadly, it's usually more men than women. But there are women who are fucked over who want to be there for their kids just as much as I'd rather live my life, just hold my kids, see them grow and learn and be happy, and see both parents without dispute and negative actions or thoughts and words and more. There's more good parents out there who are fucked over and suffer, and there's a lot of cases where they do die from physical and mental illnesses. Suicide rates are very high, and I'll admit my counselor worries because of the fact, yes, I am suicidal. And one of the biggest reasons because of it is because of this and that, involving not being able to see my kids. Life has screwed me over, this economy is hard, and I'm no longer allowed to work. And there's sexist judges out there for men and women out there. So much goes on in this world that is so sad anymore. There's better things to worry about. There's other things. And most people who decide to go take someone for child support choose to either no longer work, don't even work, and state they get shit. I feel, in all honesty, you need to have proof that you have a job and you gain that you have a way to support your child as well. Not have it that the one you're fucking over has a way to support himself and them. In all honesty, if you're gonna say fuck you, if you can support your child, there you go. You know. But you have to present, I feel, proof. And nobody does. There are so many people who lie during domestics and state they don't work, when it is proven they do. There's pictures, there's talk, there's people who run into them at work and tell the other person and be like, hey, look, they work. Or, hey, look, it's a little fishy that they're taking you for this and they're doing that. Or the fact that they get caught with drugs and shit. And, you know, there are people in this world that aren't always really your friend. And some people, family and whatnot, will be like, hey, look, you may be taking this guy or this woman for child support, but you're not doing any better either. There's a lot of people who get that way. There's people who fall and go downhill, and that's their choice in life. But if they're going to make that choice and knowing that it's going to affect their child, the child should be ripped away from them. As long as you can prove that the child is going to be taken care of, if there's a good parent who actually wants to be there, they should be given that opportunity. If it's a bad parent and the other parent's starting to fall, there's always grandparents, there's family members they can talk to, but then if both parents are not good for the child, they should both be prevented from being around said child until further notice. And you need a lot of proof. And not only should it be proof from just anyone, it should not come from the parent themselves. It has to be proven by a doctor and a counselor and a psychiatrist proving they feel it is safe for the child to be around. You should have those three forms of proof. In all honesty, I feel that if you have proof you cannot work and you're screwed over and you're being there, as long as you're being screwed over and you can't work and you have proof on it and have had proof for so long and it's being ignored, I feel it should be dropped. Or, by law, you have a legal right then to state, I have the will and the right to ask for a new person to see my case. Different judge, different caseworker, however it has to go. And a lot of people out there can't even afford lawyers, and it's sad that people get fucked over day in and day out in this world. And nowadays, in this time of era, there's more people who are abusing child support than ever. Okay? There is a higher count anymore nowadays in this generation of people taking good people for child support. And the people getting the child support aren't even the good person. But they get away with it, and it's usually because of the fact courts see it because they're a woman more have a higher chance. Doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. That's why I believe there should be equal rights when it comes to domestics. In all honesty, I don't even think child support should exist, but if it has to exist, I feel it shouldn't be brought up until the child is of the age of 13, where they are at that legal stated age to know which parent is right for them. And they should be in a room alone with some form of caseworker or something. Not only that, both parents will have to be alone and their stories have to come up straight. Not only that, as they talk, they are on a lie detector to prove they say what they say is the truth. And they should, if they have counseling and psychiatry who have a worry for them and have it listed that they are messed up because of such incidents and situations, it should come into leeway to help them out if they are a good soul, a good person, and a great parent. But in all honesty, child support should no longer exist, in my opinion, and a few others who I talked to. And I was asked to make this video and state my opinion and allow it to be known to the world on my channel. And I was going to do this a year and a half ago. But, I mean, like, it was to help another person out at that time. I mean, like, but I was too afraid. You know? But you know what? Someone's got to grow the fucking cojones and throw shit that is the truth out on here anymore. And that is what I'm going to do. Throw out the truth of my opinion, and anyone who agrees with it, in all honesty, it's sad to see children struggle. No child should have to go through this. And you're messing up your child's mind as they grow by doing all this. So, knock it off. Please, anyone of the high up in charge, if you end up seeing this, take this opinion into possible consideration. Let people understand. Let them be like, okay, look, let's hear what this video is about. Let's find out if other people agree. And if you have a good amount of people who agree, prevent and ban all forms of child support. And anyone who's going through it now, you don't get the money back, but you get the relief that it no longer exists, you no longer have to pay. The downside is if you're a negative, bad parent and you don't do anything for them, you don't, by your choice though, you're not allowed to see them. You get removed from child birth certificate and you get a restraining order until they're age 21. And then if they decide to want to take you for, you know, anything, well, sadly, gotta do it, depending on the situation, how it goes. But no mom or father should have to decide that. That should only be to the child. Because at least then the child can prove to the court who is a good parent, who is a bad parent. There's too many good parents like me and others out there who are suffering, struggling, and being fucked over in this world anymore. And they don't do anything but want to see their kids beg and cry every day, hurt, and start to get more worse each time. And suicide rates sadly increase with parents who are prevented by force not to see their kids when they want to and have only the means to want to. So take it into consideration. Think about it. Put every piece together before you just assume I'm wrong or you don't like what I have to say. I'm not saying every parent abuses it. Not once have I said it. I'm saying most of this world nowadays does. And it needs to come to an end. In all honesty, the child should have been given the entire beginning of the whole thing. No parent should be gaining a single cent from it as well. It should go to the child. The only thing it should support the parent with is keeping a roof over their head. That's the only way it should help the parent. The food and the clothes and the things for the child are for the child. The only thing that supports you and the child when it comes to that would be the house you possess. The car that you need. Other than that, and there should be a way that proves that you need to make sure the child is given that a certain amount at all times and be able to have to give proof. But in all honesty, child support should no longer exist. It should get removed. Help both sides of the parents, but not just anything. But most of all, it will help the one who matters the most, and that is the child and or children. Don't think of yourself. Stop thinking about fucking dirty ass fucking money. Think of a child for once. Stop saying you think of the child when you don't. If you thought of the child, you wouldn't have even put them through it. Because even though they're not involved with the court or the domestics, you're still putting them through it as they grow. So think of that before you take someone for child support. Think of that before you say the other parent is a bad person. When in reality, the child adores them. And the parent adores their child and or children. Children should not be suffering. No child deserves that. But also, good parents don't deserve it. As long as they have proof from health, professional people who know about health, counselors, psychiatrists, and doctors, to prove the only reason they are unable to always see their child, but they're trying whatever they can. As they struggle to do what they can, they should be allowed to be safe and be able to see their child and should not be fucked over. Alright? I want to say thank you for allowing me to state my mind, my opinion, and a few other people who asked me not to mention their names, not to give out their identity. There was sadly more men than women. I will admit that. But I will admit there was a good amount of both male and female parties who agreed to this and told me to please do so. It will help them just a bit to hope maybe someone will maybe someday see this. So thank you all for your time. And I want to announce that I love my children. And I'm not going to stop fighting. I don't give a flying fuck how long it takes. But I'm trying to make it that I don't suffer as long because I am hurting. Both mentally and physically from it. And I will always, no matter how far yous are, Daddy is always going to be there. And I love you. I love you all. And thank you to my fellow Jinxonites who have decided to watch, view, may dislike and or like my video. But thank you for giving me the time and understanding, or deciding not to understand. But if you don't understand, I'm sorry you don't. And I hope you do research, ask other people as well who go through the same situations, and kind of get the proof, so then when you go back to seeing my video, you can be like, wow, you are right. So thank you all. Fist bomb a llama. Show all love to your children. Children matter. Momentai. And as Abby would say, toodaloo.